and gentlemen, now you can officially stop asking me because I am doing a paint tool tutorial. First and foremost, when you create a paint tool, if you ever get a chance to create a paint tool that you like, when you create one, you don't have to keep it. First and foremost, you don't have to keep it at all. Just make sure you save it and do everything that you want to do with that paint tool. When you do everything that you want to do with that paint tool, you save it on your character or whatever, then you can delete it. You ain't got to worry about it no more. It's pretty much a trick that I figured out. I have paint tool on characters that aren't in my thing anymore. As you can see, you don't see the Gears of War logo. You don't see Omega's logo. You don't see Lightgear's logo. You don't see Ambrose's logo because I got rid of those, and they're still on my character. That's all I'm gonna say. If you don't want the paint tool after you saved it and you got rid of it and you want a new one, all you gotta do is just take it off and make a new one. It's very simple. It's pretty much a glitch where you can have infinite paint tool. They don't have, as you can see, they don't have 50 slots for paint tool, but they have 50 created wrestler slots. Don't worry about it. If you don't understand what I'm telling you, just replay the video numerous times so you can understand the video. Or just ask me questions. Don't give me no 50 million questions, people. I cannot answer all the questions at once. Now, as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, this is Delirious's mask paint tool right now. And it's yellow, but as you can see on my Delirious, it's green. And I've also had it red, and as you can see, this is the only one I have. I just saved the one that I have on Delirious now, and then just go back and change the color or delete it. Just like I said before, make sure you do everything you want to do with that paint tool before you delete it. This is Necro's paint tool on his tights. Yeah. And another thing with the paint tool, 128 times 128 pixels. If you pick this, you can make up to 10 different paint tools to put on one character. If you use the 256 by 256, you can only use 2 different paint tool designs on one character. Only 2. With this one, you can use 10. So if you want to use paint tool for such characters as Suicide, if you want to create a Suicide, and you know Suicide have 3 different designs on his suit, then you use 128 by 128. If you want things to be very, very, very detailed, where you can go in and make little detailed designs or whatever, you use 256 by 256. That's what you use. Now, start off, I'm going to use this one, the lowest one. Now, another thing, with the right trigger on your controller changes the speed of the cursor. When you draw in something, you use the slowest speed possible, because if you try to use a faster speed, it's not going to come out looking the way you want it to. You use the slowest speed. Ladies and gentlemen, paint tool is pretty much done by time. Take your time. You do not have to rush. That's one thing that people get wrong. They think they gotta rush with their thing. Don't rush. Take your time. Even if you make a one line and you don't know what to do with that line, save it, and come back to it. If you think you're taking too long in the paint tool, save it and come back to it. That's it. That's all you gotta do. And another thing, ladies and gentlemen, I know how to draw. That also helps. If you know how to draw, it helps. Even if you don't know how to draw, there's tools for you. If you can't make a complete circle, here is a complete circle tool. Now, one thing with these tools are your friends. This is what you want to use. Anything that has circular edges or anything that's involved in the circle, you use this tool right here that I'm on right now. This tool. If you use the D-pad, it brings you down to another. It brings it down to another, a different type of that tool. Now, as you can see, the first thing that I was on made a thin circle. Now I use the D-pad. I press down once, and now it makes a thicker circle. Press down on the D-pad again, it makes a square. Press down again, it makes a thicker square. Now you see what I'm talking about. Now, that's with that paint tool. That tool. The line tool is self-explanatory. It makes perfect lines. As you can see, it makes perfect lines. You press down on the D-pad, it gets thicker. Every time you press down on the D-pad, it gets thicker, as you can see. And that's the thickest. It gets thicker, ladies and gentlemen. That's with that paint tool. It makes perfect lines. The eraser. Everybody knows what an eraser does. I don't have to rotate. You can rotate your design. Pretty simple. Now this right here, this arrow tool right here is your best friend. It makes things look 10 times better or 10 times worse, depending on how you see it. Now, this reverse tool pretty much reverses. Self-explanatory. You press down on the D-pad, it reverses again, but the opposite way. Press down on the D-pad again, it's going to mirror the image up. Press down on the D-pad again, it's going to mirror the image to the right. And that's it. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to do a design that looks the same on both sides, like a mask, that is the tool. The thing that I'm on right now is the tool that you want to use for it. I'm the type of person where I can draw something on one side and it looks good, but when I try it on the opposite side, I always fuck up. Something is always wrong. So I use that tool right there all the time, ladies. That is the best fucking tool on this thing. Now, if you want to make something on the left side and the right side look exactly the same, that's the tool you need. Pretty much what you need to do is whatever design that you want. We're gonna use this design for instance. It's not a design, but it's a couple of lines. We're gonna use this for instance. Let me do this first. And another thing, make sure you fill in your spots. Make sure everything is connected. I'm gonna tell you the reason why later. Now, if you say this is your design and you want to put this on a pair of tights, make sure you draw everything on the left side. Anything you put on the right side doesn't matter. See, now I'm gonna just put a bullshit design, any just random shit. It doesn't matter what is on the right side, because you're gonna use this tool to mirror it. And now anything that's on the right side is gone. Whatever was on the left side is now on the right side. That's why it doesn't matter. So if you want to make a pattern like that, that's what you do. Now, another thing that you would